This car is full of tech. Rear axle steering up to 4.5 degrees in the opposite direction than the front wheels. Or here, when we switch from one ground to another, and you can see here, when I fold the seat, here, you see, pretty cool stuff, isn't it? Love these details indeed. It's time to take the all-new Mercedes GLC to the German Autobahn in our full review. Let's go! This is Autogefühl with Thomas. And how good is the new GLC? We can see it here in the exterior AMG line, and this is also the most bought model, or the most bought styling indeed. And it now has these micro stars here in the front grille. It's a beautiful feature indeed. And we also have the night pack with a lot of black accentuations already later in the side mirrors, for example, you can see that. And these headlamps here, they start already with LED, and an option you get the digital light with even more high beam performance. You see these people there in the background? They were actually laughing at me because I wear white trousers in the winter in Germany. But I actually think it's more important to wear clothes that fit the vehicle color. Yeah, that's my hobby. Is it also yours? Do you sometimes wear clothes accordingly to your vehicle color? Tell me in the comments. At 4.72 m or 186 inches, the new generation is about 6 centimeters or 2 inches longer, so a little bit longer than before. Wheels come from 18 to 20 inch. These here are 19-inch wheels, aerodynamic styling with winter tires, and the 19-inch are also standard then when you go for the AMG exterior package. And then we can see here this side step here. This is actually not only a visual thing, it also actually helps aerodynamics. A very interesting thing indeed. It has this typical GLC shape here with this coupe-like ending, but of course there will also be the GLC coupe. You will also see more about that soon here on the Autogefühl channel if you subscribe. Visually here, more horizontal stress of the rear lamps, and also has this kind of raindrop design. Do you see that? Tell me in the comments. And technology-wise, this is very interesting. Suspension, you get a base one with already frequency selective dampers, but they are not active actually, so you cannot select them. Or a sporty setup, and then you directly hop to the air suspension on both axles indeed. Plug-in hybrids have rear axle air suspension as standard. This one here today is equipped with the air suspension. And another technology highlight, which also sets it apart from the competition. Already in this segment here, rear axle steering up to 4.5 degrees in the opposite direction than the front wheels. That helps this vehicle massively when parking in and out, and also reduces the turning circle by about a meter. And down there, Autogefühl fake exhaust police alert. Yeah, because this is truly fake. Is it really necessary? And turning indicators here in the rear look like this. Not that special, isn't it? Definitely prefer the front view for the turning indicators. What about you? This is the car key. Good quality impression indeed. Then the door closing sound is, yeah, we heard better ones indeed. Inside of the doors, and yeah, they are the red styling sound of this vehicle. And don't be mistaken, you can also get other stylings, of course. And here, this is quite cool, right? The ambient lighting integration, you can already see it at the inside of the doors. That's awesome. However, here, this new generation, this is the seat control. And so far, there was a feedback when you move it. But here now, something happens with the seat, but these pieces do not move. And I think that's a bad decision that went worse, actually. Here, this one is also equipped with the Burmester sound system. Great sound indeed. And then we have a completely new steering wheel. This is also the AMG design here with the two horizontal spokes, perforation at the side, and once again awesome ambient lighting. Look at that, I love that indeed. And then below that we have a matte wood styling, so styling wise this really rocks. Yeah, besides the red seats, which is, you know, yes indeed, red seats split people in love and hate. Which team are you on? Team red seats or team other color? Tell me in the comments. And there's a saying like in Germany, when, you know, someone puts such a red interior, we would colloquially say, das sieht aber echt Porno aus, Alter. Listen and repeat. Das sieht aber echt Porno aus, Alter. Which literally means that kind of looks like porn, dude. Yeah, that's a unusual German lesson here with Thomas and Autogefühl. So, and then with 1m89 or 6'2", there is some headroom left here. So that works fine. Seating comfort here from the ergonomics so far looks fine. We have to see later on how it plays out on the Autobahn, on the German motorway. The seat surface, this case here is animal skin, but Mercedes offers a wide variety of great seating materials which are also animal free. This Artico leatherette, this is looking exactly like this, is a little bit softer even and available in different colors. Like in the UK, it's all about that. With the AMG line in Germany, we also get microfiber inside, Artico outside. That's also a great choice. And also German base levels have fabric, for example, on the inside. And US market is rather than all about the Artico, then again, in different colors. But it's a great material and can also be combined with seat cooling. And look at that panoramic roof. That leaves a lot of light in. And we can also open it. However, for that, there is sliding action. So you indeed have to slide here. And then it opens. Let's try something else. Hey Mercedes.
How can I help?
Open the sunroof.
I'm opening the sunroof.
Yeah.
No results were found. What can I do for you?
Okay, that came unexpected. Interior overview. Well, look at that. This is a design object, isn't it? Look at this area in here, this ambient lighting integration, and the matte wood right here, beautiful. Here at the steering wheel, hashtag capacitive BS for the cruise control, for example. So sliding that while driving, you can also press it, yes, but it's not that exact, I would say. And here the upper one is then to control the digital instruments where you can slide through. And that is right here where you can go through the fuel economy details, for example. Yeah, that's an interesting result. Should be a little bit better, I think, nowadays. That's like 9 liters and 1 kilometers on this trip, or 31 mpg UK or 26 mpg US. And here you can also change the whole styling. For example, make it here full screen map, or also what I really like, the off-road gauges. Yeah. And head-up display is also available. Once again, my favorite design detail is here. These illuminated air vents, but wait a minute. Look at that. Like the central part. That's totally off. You know, this isn't straight. It's like this one neither. Huh? This one here on the left side is, however. So I really love a lot of design elements here in this vehicle, but when I pay so much money for this SUV here, then I also want all my air vents 100% straight when they are closed. So Mercedes engineers, I think coast cutting on these here is not a good choice. Maybe you can fix that. Lower middle console, a lot of high gloss piano lacquer. Not my favorite indeed. What's cool is that you have underneath here also illumination. And then you have inductive charging pad there in the front and 2 USB-C chargers. These cup holders here, by the way, they are somewhat adaptive. You can push the front one to fold out, but for, let's say, glass bottles, for example, or the bottles that are a little bit smaller, they don't hold them tight enough. And then here is armrest, split opening, and more space underneath, a little bit segmented, why not? And 2 more USB-C chargers. Infotainment system, this here is the GPS integration, car internally actually quite smooth. Then here the temperature integration, yes, no real knob, but at least it's always staying in that position. And when you are switching the temperature here, you can see the air vents, they get red or warmer, or then blue again for colder. Works on all sides. This is really awesome indeed. This is the whole climate menu, so when you sync it actually, all react together. Pretty cool stuff, isn't it? Love these details indeed. In this home menu we can also switch to the Apple CarPlay. This is the integration then here. Android Auto also possible, wired or wireless. And the sound system, it's really cool sound, I really love that. You can also switch the sound profile, audio entertainment. Pure comes more from the front here, and when you go to 3D sound, it's really like all the way around. Yeah, that's what I actually prefer. Really awesome indeed. And then let's take the off-road gauges. These are really interesting, also look cool like in the instruments. And a special feature here is the off-road camera. Look at that. And this is actually showing a past recorded camera image. So when I start up the vehicle here now, then when there, for example, like is an object underneath us, we could detect that. Or here, when we switch from one ground to another, and you can see here, this is, like this, the live image, and underneath the vehicle, this would be like the past recorded image, but I can still see where is maybe like the big stone or something, and that I don't scratch my tires and then like destroy my tires on that stone here. For example, in this case, this line here on the parking lot is demonstrating that. So pretty cool system, and in general the resolution also of the rear view camera is awesome, crystal clear. That's also another feature I really love. We can argue about the high gloss black surfaces, and I don't like them, but what I found pretty cool is here the illumination also in the rear. Look at that, how the ambient lighting is also integrated at the inside of the rear doors. Rear seating, as I am driving as a tall person, 189 or 6'2", yeah, it gets close with the knee room here. This recess is well used, yes, but it just barely fits. Headroom wise, also very close here. Can put a hand over my head or over my beanie in this case. But here there's the great panoramic roof. This is a nice view here from the rear indeed. The comfort in the rear is quite decent, especially here with the animal skin surface. It's, quite hard actually. So one of the other seating surfaces would give you a little bit more softness in the cushion there. Then here the other smartphone or tablet holder, and then there are cup holders that fold out here, and in this middle console here we have two USB-C chargers and also a separate climate unit with this one button design. With the trunk we're at 600 liters now, plus 50 liters in gain. Then here the width is easily 1.40 meters, even a little bit longer actually, and the length is a little bit less than 1.40 meters. However, good folding mechanism here, right and also left, and then you can easily here. Wow, it's a great folding mechanism. Look at that. And then we have the front seats. Yeah, it's about 1.85 meters or 73 inches. Actually, also remarkable, here underneath the trunk cover, there's also a lot of space still. And just take a look at that. When I fold the seat, here, you see how the front seat is moving forward. Wow, and then when I put this back, like this, it goes backward. So yeah, this car is full of tech. Engine lineup is now fully focused on the 2-liter 4-cylinders, both petrol and diesel. There is a 6-cylinder diesel announced for later on, but so far not big news on that. And here we have the GLC 300, available as rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive 4MATIC. And here it produces 258 horsepower in the all-wheel drive version. So 6.2 seconds is the acceleration figure, and this is also probably the most bored engine in overall. Interesting is that the plug-in hybrids are also both available for petrol and diesel, and offer actually great pure electric range, so some realistic 100 kilometers or 60 miles. This is also a unique feature for the GLC and also the C-Class, where the GLC is sharing the platform with. Welcome to Thomas's Driving Lounge with the Mercedes GLC new generation. Before we head to the motorway, to the German Autobahn, just in a minute, I want to start showing you the rear axle steering in a proper use case. I already told you that parking in and out is so much easier. And here now, for example, when I'm doing this U-turn, with some vehicles, I have to go like, straight and take like the long way around. With this vehicle, I'm going to try if I can directly make it here on the road, which is, of course, easier and quicker in a way. But can this vehicle actually do that? Does the rear axle steering do that? Because it reduces the turning circle by 1 meter. Wow, look, that wasn't even close. Really amazing. So in this respect here, the new GLC has a big advantage if you compare it to the competitors. You can argue about, sporty driving versus the BMW X3 and so on. But here this U-turn thing and parking in and out, basement garage and so on, is so much easier with the rear axle steering. You get it in a package together with the air suspension. So it is kind of expensive, of course, to have this setup here, air suspension plus rear axle steering. But if you want to make this vehicle unique, and the fact that it does stand out technology-wise, this is one of the key elements for that. Very, very interesting. Now we're already on the, heading to the motorway. Left side already begins, but there's a construction site. But when this road here leads to the motorway, the construction site will be over. Here, let's say city speeds, 50 kilometers an hour, 30 miles an hour. You already feel it's very, very silent. And the air suspension, by the way, is not set on a, let's say, GLE comparable thing, that it has this very soft floating ride. The GLC is rather set on a sportier note, not super sporty, but I mean, we don't have the biggest wheels on this vehicle either, but it doesn't feel floaty, you know. So when you ask me, would I immediately feel that this is an air suspension? Rather not. I can see it here, that I can pump up the vehicle, yes, but I wouldn't immediately say this is like a floaty air suspension. Let's go to the sports mode, and then we can do first acceleration onto the motorway from 60 kilometers an hour. Let's go. $120. Yeah, that was 60 to 120. It's hard to pick up the speed here on camera because it's like kind of like hidden here behind the steering wheel. So camera-wise, it's not a good position. That's why I told you the speed actually. Now from 100, when we are already at speed, let's see. 120. 140. Yeah. So that was 100 to 140. Quick enough, definitely, with this 2-liter 4-cylinder. It doesn't give you like this, you know, big sonorous 6-cylinder feeling or something. Sound emulation here is actually quite decent as well. So I would say you have enough speed. This vehicle here available in this very engine with rear-wheel drive or with all-wheel drive, and both will actually be fine. Now about noise insulation. This is a good motorway speed, like 130 kilometers an hour. So like 75 miles an hour. And so far installation is very good. However, we have a very windy situation here outside today, so considering that's really well done. And the suspension is also a little bit stiffer in that sport mode, really keeping me very well settled here on the motorway, so I don't feel the disadvantages of an SUV. Here also 160 kilometers an hour now, pretty quick. When I do some like left to right here, of course, then I feel it is a SUV, so a sedan would not move, you know, in the same kind of way, but still, it feels very planted and settled on the road, a very relaxed motorway feeling indeed. And this upright seating position also helps very much, especially in recent Mercedes vehicles, because we talked about it in some reviews. I am not 100% happy with Mercedes seat ergonomics recently, especially in their normal cars like sedans and so on, and in the SUVs it's not such a problem because you have this higher seating position. Therefore the hip is positioned a little bit differently, and like how the legs go off the seat basically, and this really helps in comfort.
I'm sorry, can you say that again, please?
Tell me a joke.
2 Wi-Fi engineers got married. The reception was fantastic.
Oh, you got that joke? 2 Wi-Fi engineers got married. The reception was fantastic. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, sometimes, of course, when I am talking about... When I'm talking... When I'm talking about... cancel. When I'm talking about Mercedes in the vehicle, then of course the Hey Mercedes thing is being picked up.
Where do you want to go?
Yeah, there we go.
Can you say it again, please?
No, I'm just happy where I am. Thank you. Paused. Yeah. So yeah, stuff like this happens. By the way, the steering wheel, yes, I don't like the hashtag capacitive BS trend we have here on the steering wheel to control everything. However, the steering itself, from the size and the sportiness, is awesome. So I have great control over the vehicle. I really like that. I also feel the steering itself, when you compare previous generation and this one here, well, that was a mix between predecessor and previous, you know, the previous. Interesting. Language is evolving. So the previous generation, or the predecessor, had more like a more vague steering wheel. It was more or less dead in the early degree angles. This steering here in the new generation is set to a sportier note. Maybe also has something to do with the rear axle steering setup. Above 60 kilometers an hour or 40 miles an hour, there's not the effect anymore that it steers in the opposite direction at the rear axle, but in the parallel one, giving you more stability, but of course also changes a little bit of the handling in general.
What would you like to do?
Nothing. Thank you. Goodbye. Next time I think I'm going to deactivate it while reviewing or something. Yeah, engine performance is actually good. So when I'm switching, let's see how easy it is to switch to the CarPlay here, for example, then making CarPlay map bigger. Yeah, I think overall it works. Sometimes the infotainment system can be a little bit laggy. Yeah, but overall does the job. Most of the time I do use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto anyway. Here, of course, in this new generation, both available wired and wireless. So, yeah, back to the steering wheel. I think it steers in a very sporty way. I have a very good grip of that one, and I love the size. So, the sporty steering input is really great. There's no dead zone area. Commands are being transported to the road, and the overall steering feeling is very natural as well. So to me, Mercedes wasn't leading in steering feel. I think rather the Porsche and Audi steerings were better there. But here in the new generation, GLC and also some other new cars by Mercedes, they picked up for the steering feel. So really improved that one. Very happy with the overall steering feel and characteristic now here. And that also adds to this experience. You feel very well connected to the vehicle. One thing to consider when you're taller, or as tall as me is, here in this front cockpit, since it's this SUV high seating position, you're fine with comfort and seating comfort. But the GLC, same counts for the C-Class in general, because they share the platform. Here in the front, you feel rather a little bit cramped as for your right knee, or it would be your left knee then, when you have the right-hand drive version in the UK. Because you see, this whole cockpit kind of encloses you. It's more this sporty, sensual shape, everything. And that looks great and feels sporty at the same time, very luxurious somehow. But then again, it also, you're losing space, so you just have to be aware of that if that's a problem for you, or maybe take a test seat at a dealer or something. We have one more acceleration to the next Autobahn position. Yeah, also very nice in this corner. Now there's a lot of traffic to see about that. Also can check out the blind spot monitor. There it is. It appears quite late with this red triangle in the side mirror. Then you also have a visual warning too, if you're setting the turning indicator. Yeah, here also very nicely done then. Safety onto the left lane. That wasn't even powering all the way through. I'm still driving in the sport mode all the time. I wasn't realizing that, it would make any negative impact. But here the C mode, the comfort mode, then again sets the suspension on comfort. Then it's a little bit more comfortable. Yeah, but once again, I think when you offer an air suspension in this segment, I would have tuned it more to a little bit more floaty ride, because then we say like, hey, we are the ones in that segment that have air suspension, and we offer you that special floaty, carpet-alike ride. Yeah, but they didn't do it because they wanted to have a little sporty element with it. It's not rough in any case, so the suspension is awesome. But just my personal preference is when I buy air suspension, especially by Mercedes, I expect a setup like in the GLE, where you have this very soft floaty ride, and this sets it apart. Not the case here. Still a great suspension, still very comfortable. And here in the comfort mode, I feel, let's say, a little bit of it when I'm going over longer waves and so on. And however, for the motorway and faster driving, this makes it an ideal vehicle. The waves are being evened out. At the same time, it doesn't shake up as being an SUV. So that's then, this thing. If you consider GLB versus GLC, what difference does it make, especially in driving? Yes, we know the GLB, being the front-wheel driven platform, has more space on the inside because of the shorter hood. This one has the longer hood, past models because you could also get more than a 4-cylinder. This is now not an argument anymore, basically. But this one here, being the rear-wheel driven platform, has more dynamic character when going out of the corners, because even the all-wheel drive has a rear-wheel bias. That makes it sportier when accelerating out of the corner. That's actually pretty cool, like that. And the whole ride and the interior is set more on a luxurious note. That's why it's also more expensive. And things like an air suspension or rear axle steering you only get for the GLC and not for the GLB. So the GLB would be the thing, more the family focus, more price performance, if that counts for a Mercedes overall. And the GLC more this, space is not that important. You've seen that the rear legroom is also not abundant. And then more this luxurious features, technology focus, all the special tech features we have here inside. So definitely the more upmarket vehicle, that is the difference. Assistant systems, let's try them out. First of all, here, adaptive cruise control, set it to the car in front of me. Very nicely done. And the good thing is that the active steering assist can be deactivated if you don't like that, if you find it too intrusive or something. And I really wonder, you can set it here in the infotainment system. So here I can turn it on, then it's the active one. And in that case then, the car is being kept in the lane by itself. And that is very smoothly done, actually pretty cool. Let's keep it on the right lane here. Now let's see if I want to steer off myself a little bit here. There, you see this smooth reaction. Very well done. Wow, pretty cool. So indeed, flawless assistance systems and surprisingly sporty ride here of the new GLC generation. At the same time, a little bit more luxurious. If you want to tune into some competitors, tune in there. Or interested in the previous generation for buying used, what about this?